The signal wasn't for humans, but they answered anyway. A whisper in the void. It began as a faint, rhythmic pulse from deep space. In 2037, the SETI array detected the anomaly, a series of repeating signals originating from a point over 50,000 light-years away in the Perseus arm of the galaxy. The signal was mathematically precise, unlike anything that could occur naturally. Humanity's finest minds rallied, assuming it to be a potential alien communication. But they didn't know what they were really hearing. In truth, the signal wasn't for them. It wasn't even meant to be intercepted. But humans, driven by their insatiable curiosity, decided to answer. Chapter 1. The Discovery. Dr. Alara Su, astrophysicist and head of the Arecibo Revival Project, had just begun her morning coffee when the alert blared through her lab. The new algorithm scanning for extraterrestrial signals had flagged something extraordinary. The waveform displayed on her monitor was hypnotic, a series of rising and falling tones interspersed with sharp bursts of static. "This can't be random," she murmured, her fingers flying over the keyboard. Within minutes, the signal was confirmed as non-terrestrial. It wasn't just a pattern. It was encoded information. Within days, a global coalition of scientists had joined forces. The signal's origin point was triangulated to a distant star system, and the encoded data was parsed. The message, when translated, contained a complex series of prime numbers, molecular diagrams, and a map of their location. It was almost as if the sender wanted to be found. Chapter 2. A Reckless Response. "It's a greeting," declared Dr. Raj Patel at a United Nations symposium. "The signal is an invitation. We must respond." Not everyone agreed. Some, like military advisor General Maria Klein, warned against hastily reaching out to a civilization far more advanced than humanity. "This isn't some harmless chat with a neighbor," she argued. "We're announcing our presence to an unknown entity. We're exposing ourselves." Despite the protests, the UN approved the transmission of a reply. Using Earth's most powerful radio telescopes, humanity sent back a message of its own, a greeting in mathematics, accompanied by data about Earth, its inhabitants, and the solar system. Chapter 3. A New Player in the Game. 2 months after the reply was sent, the signal changed. The steady rhythm became erratic, almost frantic. At first, scientists thought it was a glitch in their equipment. But the signal's intensity continued to grow. Then it stopped altogether. The silence was deafening and brief. 3 weeks later, a new signal appeared. This one was not from the same origin point. It came from within the Milky Way, a mere 12 light-years away. The transmission was clear and direct. "Cease communication. The message is not for you." The world reeled. Who had sent the warning? And what was the original message really about? Chapter 4. The Arcs of Elysium. Dr. Su's team uncovered a disturbing truth hidden in the original signal. It wasn't just a greeting, it was a beacon. The encoded map and molecular diagrams were instructions for constructing something, a device they named the Elysium Gate. Against warnings, several nations pooled resources to build the device. The construction took a year, a massive undertaking that drew upon global resources and ingenuity. When activated, the Elysium Gate emitted a column of light that seemed to pierce the fabric of reality itself. For 3 days, nothing happened. Then, the visitors arrived. They weren't what anyone expected. No sleek ships or benevolent humanoids. The entities that emerged were incomprehensible masses of shifting light and shadow. They communicated in bursts of sound and light, incomprehensible until they interfaced with the Elysium Gate, which translated their intentions. They weren't here to greet humanity. They were fleeing. Chapter 5. The Pursuers. "We are the Ark Builders," the entities explained through the gate. "Our kind have traversed the stars for eons, carrying life from dying worlds to new homes. But we have been followed by the Void Seekers." The Ark Builders revealed a dark truth. The original signal was not meant for new civilizations, but for other arcs scattered across the galaxy. It was a distress call. The Void Seekers, entities of pure entropy, hunted them relentlessly. Humanity's response had revealed Earth's location, drawing both the Ark Builders and their hunters to the planet. Chapter 6. Preparing for the End. Humanity scrambled to prepare. The Ark Builders offered assistance, sharing technology to create defensive measures. But even with their help, the prognosis was grim. The Void Seekers were unlike any threat humanity had faced, beings that consumed not just matter, but the very fabric of space-time. Dr. Sue took charge of coordinating Earth's response, uniting military, scientific, and diplomatic efforts. But tensions flared as nations vied for control of the Ark Builders' technology, and fear of annihilation pushed humanity to the brink of chaos. Chapter 7. The Battle for Earth. The Void Seekers arrived as an all-consuming darkness. Space warped and twisted in their presence, and even the Ark Builders' advanced weaponry struggled to hold them back. Earth's hastily constructed defenses were tested to their limits. In a desperate gambit, Dr. Sue and her team devised a plan to use the Elysium Gate to create a rift large enough to banish the Void Seekers. The operation required massive energy inputs and precise coordination. As the battle raged in orbit, humanity poured its hopes into the gate. Chapter 8. A Price Paid in Light. The rift worked, but at a cost. The energy release devastated the surrounding area, wiping out entire regions of Earth's surface. The Void Seekers were banished, but so too were the Ark Builders, their essence pulled into the rift alongside their enemies. Earth was left scarred, its population decimated. Survivors emerged into a new world, one irrevocably changed by the encounter. Chapter 9. The Veil Thins. The air in the control room was thick with tension. A faint hum reverberated through the walls, the sound of machines trying to comprehend the incomprehensible. Emma leaned over the console, staring at the incomprehensible waveform on the monitor. "It's changing," she muttered, her voice barely audible over the soft beeps and whirs of the equipment. "What do you mean, changing?" Raj asked, his fingers poised over the keyboard, ready to input new commands. His eyes darted between Emma and the screen. "Look at the modulation pattern," she said, tracing her finger along the screen. It's adapting. It's not random noise anymore. It's responding." Dr. Halvorsen frowned, adjusting his glasses. "Responding to what? Our transmissions?" Emma nodded, her face pale. "I think so." For weeks, the team had been working tirelessly, decoding what they initially thought was an alien signal. It had come from deep space, a transmission so strong it defied known natural sources. Their initial broadcasts, basic mathematical sequences, chemical structures, and even fragments of human languages, were meant to serve as an introduction. But now, the signal's fluctuations suggested something unsettling. It was learning. "This isn't just a one-way message," Raj said, a hint of awe in his voice. "It's an exchange." The team fell silent as the realization sank in. This was no ordinary contact. Whatever they were dealing with was conscious, reactive, and far more advanced than anything they had anticipated. "We need to escalate this," Dr. Halvorsen said firmly. "The Oversight Committee has to know. This is bigger than us." Emma's fingers tightened around the edge of the console. "And if they shut us down? If they decide this is too dangerous?" Halvorsen hesitated. He knew the risks. The government's protocol for extraterrestrial contact was clear: preserve humanity at all costs, even if it meant silencing the messengers. Before anyone could respond, the lights flickered, and the room was plunged into momentary darkness. A faint vibration coursed through the floor, almost like a heartbeat. "What the hell was that?" Raj said, his voice tight with fear. The backup systems kicked in, bathing the room in a dim red glow. Emma's console buzzed to life, displaying a new waveform. It was sharper, more pronounced, as if the signal had gained clarity. "It's here," Emma whispered, her voice trembling. "What's here?" Raj demanded. Emma didn't answer. She couldn't. The words caught in her throat as a low, resonant hum filled the room. It wasn't coming from the speakers. It was in the air, vibrating through their very bones. Raj stared at the screen, his hands trembling. "This isn't just a signal. It's a presence." Halvorsen stepped forward, his face pale but resolute. We need to shut this down.
Now?
Emma spun around, her eyes blazing.
No.
You don't understand. It's communicating. We've made contact. And we don't know what we've contacted, Halvorsen shot back. For all we know, this thing could be hostile. Before the argument could escalate, the hum intensified, and a series of symbols appeared on the main monitor. They were intricate, almost organic in their complexity, shifting and evolving before their eyes. It's a language, Emma breathed. It's trying to talk to us. Halvorsen hesitated, torn between fear and curiosity. Finally, he nodded.
Fine.
But the moment this goes south, we're pulling the plug. Agreed. Emma nodded, already typing furiously. Let's find out what it's saying. Hours passed as the team worked tirelessly, decoding the symbols. The message was fragmented, like pieces of a puzzle scattered across time and space. Yet, as they pieced it together, a picture began to emerge. It's a warning, Emma said finally, her voice hollow. It's warning us about something. Something? Raj asked, his brow furrowed. That's not exactly reassuring. Emma pointed to a series of symbols on the screen. These represent danger, imminence. And this? She gestured to another cluster of symbols. This is us. Earth. Halvorsen's face darkened. It's warning us about a threat to Earth. But from what? Before Emma could respond, the hum returned, louder and more insistent. The symbols on the screen shifted, forming a new sequence. It was more complex than anything they'd seen before, and it pulsed with an almost hypnotic rhythm. Emma's eyes widened. It's coordinates. Raj leaned closer. Coordinates to what? Emma hesitated, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. I don't know. But there's only one way to find out. Chapter 10, The Crossing. The coordinates led to a remote location in the Pacific Ocean, a spot far from any known land masses. The team, Emma, Raj, Halvorsen, and a small contingent of specialists, found themselves aboard a research vessel, cutting through choppy waves under a moonless sky. I still can't believe we're doing this, Raj muttered, clutching a steaming cup of coffee. Following alien coordinates, to the middle of nowhere. If you have a better idea, I'm all ears, Emma said, scanning the horizon. This might be our only chance to understand. The ship's captain, a grizzled man named Torres, approached. We're nearing the coordinates. Whatever you're looking for, you'd better find it quick. This area is known for freak storms. Emma nodded, her stomach churning with anticipation and dread. The closer they got to the coordinates, the more the hum seemed to resonate in her mind. It wasn't just a sound anymore. It was a feeling, a presence pressing against her thoughts. We're here, Torres announced as the ship slowed to a stop. The water beneath them was eerily still, a stark contrast to the turbulent waves they'd encountered earlier. Emma stared at the equipment, which was picking up an intense electromagnetic field directly beneath them. It's down there, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. What's down there? Raj asked, his eyes wide. Emma didn't answer. She couldn't. All she knew was that they had to go deeper. The submersible descended into the depths, its lights cutting through the inky blackness. Emma, Raj, and Halvorsen sat in tense silence, their breaths fogging the glass as they peered into the void. We're picking up something, Raj said, his voice trembling. It's massive. The sonar displayed an enormous structure below them, its edges indistinct. As they drew closer, the lights revealed a surface that shimmered like liquid metal, pulsating with an otherworldly energy. My God, Halvorsen breathed. It's a vessel. Emma stared in awe. The structure was unlike anything she'd ever seen, a seamless blend of organic and mechanical design. Symbols similar to those in the signal glowed faintly along its surface, shifting and morphing like living things. It's been here for centuries, Emma said, her voice filled with wonder. Maybe longer. Do we approach? Raj asked, his hands gripping the controls. Emma hesitated. Every instinct told her to turn back, to leave this place undisturbed. But the hum in her mind grew stronger, pulling her forward. Yes, she said finally. We have to. The submersible edged closer to the structure, its lights illuminating a massive opening that seemed to lead inside. Emma felt her heart race as they crossed the threshold, entering a vast chamber filled with faintly glowing symbols and structures that defied logic. "It's a message," she said, her voice shaking. "A warning left behind for us." Halvorson's face was grim. "Or a trap." Before anyone could respond, the chamber came alive. The walls pulsed with light, and a low, resonant tone filled the air. Emma's vision blurred as the hum consumed her mind, filling it with images of stars collapsing, worlds burning, and a darkness that seemed to devour everything in its path. "It's coming," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "And we're not ready." Raj shook her shoulder.
Emma.
"What's coming?" She looked at him, her eyes filled with terror. "The end." The chamber shuddered, and the submersible systems began to fail. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the walls seemed to close in around them. As they scrambled to escape, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that they had crossed a line, that they had awakened something that should have remained dormant. And now it was too late to turn back. Chapter 11. Silent Echoes. The cold vastness of space whispered with an ancient echo. A signal, alien in origin, sent not for the ears of humanity, had reached them nonetheless. Against all odds, humanity had answered. Now, the repercussions rippled through the universe, unseen forces stirring from slumber. Captain Elias Travers paced the bridge of the SS Horizon. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. After receiving the alien response, every crew member knew they had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. "Any updates from the relay stations?" Travers asked, his voice steady but strained. Lieutenant Nora Kane shook her head. "Nothing yet, Captain. It's as if the entire network has gone dark." Travers cursed under his breath. The signal they had intercepted wasn't meant for human ears, and now it seemed their meddling had drawn the attention of something far beyond their comprehension. "Keep scanning. We need to know if anyone or anything is approaching." The crew worked in tense silence, their fingers flying over control panels as they searched for any sign of incoming ships or transmissions. The silence of space had never felt so ominous. Meanwhile, in the lower decks of the ship, Dr. Elena Rodriguez was examining the alien artifact that had accompanied the signal. The strange device pulsed with a faint, rhythmic glow, as if alive. "Elena, any progress?" Commander Hassan Malik's voice crackled over the intercom. "I'm close to deciphering its purpose," Rodriguez replied. "But there's something unsettling about it." "Unsettling how?" "It feels like it's watching us." Malik didn't respond immediately. "Be careful. We don't know what we're dealing with." Rodriguez nodded, though he couldn't see her. The artifact emitted a low hum, resonating through the lab. She reached out to touch it, and the glow intensified. In a distant part of the galaxy, a council of ancient beings convened. They were the keepers of the signal, guardians of the message that humanity had unwittingly intercepted. "They've answered," one of the beings said, its voice resonating like a chorus of distant stars. "They weren't supposed to," another replied, its form shifting like smoke in the void. "What do we do now?" "We observe. For now." Back on the horizon, the crew's unease grew. Strange occurrences began to happen. Lights flickered without cause, and faint whispers echoed through the halls. "Captain, we've picked up a new signal," Kane announced. "Origin? It's unclear, but it's directed at us." Travers frowned. "Play it." A haunting melody filled the bridge, unlike anything they had ever heard. It was both beautiful and terrifying, a song of the cosmos that spoke of ancient civilizations and forgotten knowledge. Rodriguez burst onto the bridge, the artifact in her hands. "Captain, the artifact is reacting to the signal." As the melody played, the artifact's glow intensified, casting eerie shadows on the walls. "What does it mean?" Malik asked. Rodriguez shook her head. "I don't know, but I think we've become part of something much bigger than we ever imagined." Chapter 12. The First Contact. The horizon drifted through the void, its crew on edge. They had answered a call that wasn't meant for them, and now the consequences were unfolding. "Captain, We've got something on the scanners, Kane reported.
A ship.
No, several ships. They're approaching fast. Travers' heart pounded in his chest. Identify them. They're not human, Kane said, her voice trembling. And they're not any species we've encountered before. Battle stations. Travers barked. Prepare for possible engagement. The crew scrambled to their positions, tension thick in the air. The alien ships drew closer, their sleek, otherworldly designs unlike anything humanity had seen. Incoming transmission, Kane said. Put it through. The screen flickered to life, revealing a being that seemed to be made of light and shadow. Its form was fluid, constantly shifting. You have answered the signal, the being said, its voice resonating in their minds. Why? Travers stepped forward. We seek knowledge. Understanding. We meant no harm. The being regarded him silently for a moment. You have interfered with ancient protocols. The signal was not meant for you.
We didn't know, Travers said.
But now that we've made contact, can we not learn from each other? The being's form flickered. Perhaps. But you must prove yourselves worthy. Rodriguez stepped forward. The artifact, what is its purpose? The being's gaze shifted to her. It is a key. A key to knowledge and power. But it is also a test. A test of what? Malik asked. Of your species' readiness to join the greater cosmos, the being replied. Many have tried. Few have succeeded. And if we fail? Travers asked. The being's form darkened. Then you'll be forgotten. Lost to the void. Silence fell over the bridge as the gravity of the situation sank in. What must we do to pass the test? Rodriguez asked. The being's form brightened. You must journey to the heart of the signal. There, you will find the answers you seek. But be warned, the path is fraught with danger. We're not afraid, Travers said. Humanity has always faced the unknown. Very well, the being said. Then your journey begins. The alien ships turned and began to depart, leaving the horizon alone once more. Travers turned to his crew. Prepare for a new course. We're going to the heart of the signal. Rodriguez glanced at the artifact in her hands. It pulsed with a steady rhythm, as if guiding them. The adventure continues, Malik said with a grin. Let's hope we're ready. The Horizon's engines roared to life, propelling them into the unknown. The crew braced themselves for what lay ahead, knowing that they were on the brink of a discovery that would change humanity forever. In the distance, the echoes of the signal called to them, beckoning them forward. And humanity, ever curious and ever daring, answered the call once more. Chapter 13. Shadows of Doubt. The signal hummed faintly in the background of the control room. Monitors displayed streams of alien code and scattered images of distant stars. Commander Elise Carter leaned over the console, her fingers dancing across the keys as she tried to decrypt the latest transmission. What's the status, Carter? Captain Reynolds strode into the room, his usual calm demeanor tinged with unease. We've isolated a secondary transmission buried beneath the primary signal, Elise replied without looking up. It's not meant for us. The encryption suggests it's a direct communication to someone, or something, already on Earth. Reynolds' eyes narrowed. A sleeper agent? Possibly. Or a beacon to activate dormant technology, Elise speculated. Either way, it's not good. Lieutenant Javier Morales entered the room, holding a tablet. Sir, we've got movement near the old observatory. Unregistered vehicles. No transponder signals. Reynolds cursed under his breath. They're making their move. Morales, get a team ready. Carter, you're with me? The air was cold and crisp as they approached the observatory. The structure loomed against the night sky, its once pristine dome now covered in rust and vines. Elise felt a shiver run down her spine. Not from the cold, but from the sense that they were being watched. Stay sharp, Reynolds whispered. We don't know what we're walking into. The team moved in formation, weapons drawn. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves. As they reached the entrance, Elise's communicator crackled to life. Commander Carter, you need to see this. Morales' voice came through. We've found something inside. They entered the observatory, their footsteps echoing off the walls. In the center of the room stood a device unlike anything they had ever seen. It pulsed with an otherworldly light, casting eerie shadows across the walls. "What the hell is that?" Reynolds muttered. Elise approached cautiously. "It's a transmitter. And it's active." Suddenly, the device emitted a high-pitched whine, and the light intensified. The team shielded their eyes as a holographic figure appeared before them. It was humanoid, but unmistakably alien. Tall, slender, with elongated limbs and crystalline skin that shimmered like glass. "Humans," the figure spoke, its voice resonating with a metallic timbre. "You are not supposed to answer the signal." Chapter 14: Choices and Consequences. The holographic figure's gaze swept over the team, its eyes glimmering like stars. Elise felt a knot tighten in her stomach. This was the moment they had been preparing for, but nothing could have truly prepared them for this. "Why not?" Elise asked, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. The alien tilted its head. "The signal was a warning. A test. It was not intended for your kind. By answering, you have altered the course of events." Reynolds stepped forward. "Who are you?" "I am an emissary of the Verith, the guardians of the galactic balance. We observe. We protect. But we do not interfere," the alien explained. "Your response has triggered protocols that cannot be undone." Elise's mind raced. "What kind of protocols?" The hologram flickered. "A signal was sent to awaken the sleepers. Ancient guardians hidden among your population, tasked with preventing your species from reaching beyond your world too soon." Morales glanced at Reynolds. "So, sleeper agents are real?" "Yes," the emissary confirmed. "They will awaken with a single purpose, to halt your advancement by any means necessary. And if we don't stop them?" Elise pressed. The emissary's expression darkened. "Your civilization will collapse. The balance must be maintained." Reynolds clenched his fists. "We won't let that happen. We'll find these sleepers and neutralize them." The hologram shimmered. "You misunderstand. The sleepers are not your only concern. Others have taken notice of your defiance. They are coming."
"Who?"
Elise demanded. "The harbingers of silence. They consume worlds that disrupt the balance. They will arrive soon." The room fell silent, the weight of the revelation sinking in. "What can we do?" Morales asked, his voice filled with dread. The emissary's gaze softened.
"Prepare.
Unite your people. And most importantly, find the sleepers before they can sabotage your efforts." Elise took a deep breath. "Will you help us?" The hologram flickered once more. "We cannot interfere directly, but I will provide you with knowledge. It is up to you to use it wisely." A stream of data flowed from the device into Elise's communicator. She glanced at the screen, her eyes widening as she processed the information. "Coordinates, schematics, historical records," she murmured. "This is everything we need." The emissary nodded. "The fate of your world rests in your hands. Do not fail." With that, the hologram vanished, leaving the team standing in the dimly lit observatory. Reynolds broke the silence. "We need to move fast. Morales, alert the council. Carter, start decoding that data. We don't have much time." Elise nodded, determination hardening her features. "We'll find the sleepers. And we'll be ready for whatever comes next." As they exited the observatory, the stars above seemed to shimmer with new urgency. The signal had been answered. Now humanity would have to prove it was ready for the challenges ahead. Chapter 15: The Threshold of Uncertainty. The command center was quiet, save for the low hum of machinery and the occasional beeping from consoles. Captain Mira Donovan stood at the central console, her eyes locked on the holographic projection of a distant star system. The signal's origin had been pinpointed to an uncharted planet on the system's edge, a place devoid of any signs of advanced life. At least, according to the initial scans. "Captain, we're approaching the planet," Lieutenant Harris reported from his station. "ETA in 15 minutes. Mira nodded, her thoughts racing. The signal they had intercepted weeks ago was unlike anything humanity had encountered before. It wasn't a distress call or a greeting. It was a set of coordinates, paired with a sequence of mathematical equations and a simple phrase, "not for humans." And yet, here they were, responding to a message that wasn't meant for them. "All systems are green," Harris continued. "No signs of hostile activity." "Good," Mira said, her voice steady. "But stay alert. This could be a trap, or worse, a warning." As the Vanguard descended toward the planet's surface, Mira couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something monumental. Humanity had always been explorers, seekers of knowledge. But this time, they were stepping into the unknown with a boldness that bordered on recklessness. The landing site was a vast plain, dotted with strange, crystalline structures that shimmered under the planet's twin suns. The air was breathable, though thick with unfamiliar scents. The crew disembarked cautiously, weapons at the ready. "No life forms detected," Dr. Amara Singh said, scanning the area with her portable sensor. "But these structures, they're not natural." Mira approached one of the crystalline formations, running her gloved hand over its smooth surface. It was cool to the touch, humming faintly with an energy she couldn't quite identify. "Captain, over here," shouted Sergeant Bennett. He stood near a large, circular platform embedded in the ground, its surface etched with intricate symbols. Mira joined him, her heart pounding. The symbols were eerily similar to those found in the signal's transmission. "This is it," she whispered. "The source of the signal." Amara knelt beside the platform, her scanner whirring. "There's a power source beneath us. Massive but dormant. If we can activate it—" "We don't know what we're dealing with," Mira interjected. "One wrong move could trigger anything." Amara met her gaze, determination burning in her eyes. "But it could also give us answers. Isn't that why we're here?" Mira hesitated. She knew the risks, but the allure of discovery was too great to ignore. "Do it." Amara pressed a series of buttons on her scanner, and the platform began to hum. The symbols glowed with a soft, blue light, and a holographic interface materialized above it. "It's a gateway," Amara said in awe. "A portal to somewhere." Chapter 16, Crossing the Threshold. The crew gathered around the gateway, tension thick in the air. Mira studied the holographic interface, its symbols shifting and rearranging like a puzzle waiting to be solved. "What do you think it leads to?" Harris asked. "Another world," Amara replied. "Or another dimension. There's no way to know for sure." Mira glanced at Bennett. "What's our weapon status?" "Fully operational," he said. "But I'd rather not have to use them." "Agreed," Mira said. She turned back to the gateway. "Let's proceed with caution." Amara tapped a final sequence into the interface, and the portal flared to life, its surface shimmering like liquid glass. Beyond it, they could see a landscape unlike any they had ever encountered, a sky filled with swirling colors, towering structures that defied physics, and creatures that moved with an otherworldly grace. "This isn't possible," Harris murmured. "It is now," Mira said, stepping closer to the portal. "We're witnessing the work of a civilization far beyond our own." As they prepared to step through, a figure emerged from the portal's other side, a tall, humanoid being with luminous skin and eyes that glowed like distant stars. It raised a hand in greeting, and a voice echoed in their minds. "You were not meant to come here. But now that you have, we must speak." The crew froze, each processing the telepathic message in their own way. Mira stepped forward, her heart racing. "We receive your signal," she said. "We came seeking knowledge, not conflict." The being tilted its head, studying her. "The signal was not for your kind. Yet your curiosity brought you here. This is both a blessing and a danger." "Who are you?" Mira asked. "And why did you send the signal?" The being's expression shifted, a mixture of sadness and resolve. "We are the Watchers, guardians of the thresholds between realms." The signal was a warning, a beacon to deter those not ready to cross. "You humans have crossed prematurely." Amara stepped beside Mira. "We didn't mean to intrude. But now that we're here, we can't turn back without understanding what's at stake." The Watcher nodded slowly. "Indeed. Your arrival has set events into motion that cannot be undone. The gateways will open across your world. Others will come, some as seekers of knowledge, others with darker intentions. Myra's mind raced. How do we stop it? How do we protect our world? The Watcher gestured toward the portal.
Come.
There is much to show you. But know this. Once you cross, there is no return. Your world will forever be changed. Mira turned to her crew. This is it.
The point of no return.
If anyone wants to stay behind, speak now. No one moved. We're with you, Captain, Bennett said, his voice steady. Mira nodded, a surge of pride and determination washing over her. Then let's make history. Together, they stepped through the portal, leaving behind the familiar and entering a realm of endless possibilities and unknown perils.